Kim, and today we're going to be talking about wraps. So when it comes to baby wearing, you always want to remember to take safety precautions. You always want to practice the ABCs of baby wearing. So for A, you have airway. You always want to make sure that the child that you're wearing has a nice clean airway. They're getting fresh air, their face isn't covered, they're not slumping and compromising their airway. A good way to measure that is if you can take your 2 adult fingers and put it under their chin. You are in a good spot. They are most likely able to get nice fresh air. For B is body positioning. You always want to make sure that you are wearing a carrier that is age appropriate for the child that you're wearing, that you're not wearing something that's too big or too small. So just always go by the manufacturer guidelines for the weight and height of the carrier for the child that you're wearing. And then for C is you want to be comfortable. You want yourself to be comfortable. You also want the child that you're wearing to be comfortable. If you're having some discomfort, there's probably just a few slight adjustments that need to be made, and you should be good to go. So there are many different styles of wraps. The first one we're going to talk about today is a stretchy wrap. So it looks something like this. This is a Moby, so this one is cotton. It's very, very stretchy. Some of them out on the market are going to have a lot more stretch. Some of them don't have as much stretch. So all of wraps have a really nice indicator of where the middle is. It's called the middle marker. So as you can see, let's get this straight. On this one, in the middle, there's a tag that says Moby. So to start, I'm going to bunch this up with that middle marker right at the middle of my stomach. I'm going to take this top edge, bring it around my back, and up and over my shoulder. I'm just worrying about, to start, by grabbing the top edge. That's going to make sure it doesn't get twisted on my back. I'm going to bring that up, and then I'm going to do the other side. So grabbing this top edge, bringing it up and over my shoulders, and as you can see, I have made an X across my back. I want this X to be kind of low. It's going to make it more comfortable on my body. So you're going to see this wrap is very, very long, which is great that you can wear it for different body types. It is very moldable, comfortable wrap. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is really tight. With a stretchy wrap, when you're wearing your baby, you'll notice that they can start to sag. So it's always best to just start with it really, really tight. Okay, so from here, I'm going to gather all this up, reach in, and push that through. So one of these is naturally going to be closer to my body. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make an X, bring it around, and then I have enough fabric, I'm going to make a double knot right here. If you didn't have enough fabric, you could tie a double knot in the back. So now you can see on my left shoulder, it's closer to my body, and I've created this X. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this down so it's out of my way, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my baby. Okay. So this is baby Jackson. He is 5 months old. So I'm going to go ahead and put him high on my shoulder. And the fabric side that's closest to my body, I'm going to guide his leg in first from the knee. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull his other leg through the other side. So you can do this one of 2 ways to pull the fabric over their back. It's a little bit easier if you pull to the other side and then bring it down. So I want this to go from his knee all the way to his shoulder. And then I can go ahead and do the other side. I know. So now I have nice knee to knee coverage for him. And I've created a nice seat. So then I'm gonna take that middle part, tuck it over his feet, and then I can reach for my back to make sure I'm grabbing the right side, and then guide that up and over his back. So as you can see, he's got a nice deep seat. For body positioning, you want your baby to be in an M shape, so his knees are higher than his bottom. And as you can see, this is really tight. So if I needed to, I could always retighten this knot. And for comfort, if you want to, you can take these edges closest to your neck and bring them over your shoulder. So it just kind of helps distribute that weight a little bit easier. So this is a pocket wrap cross carry in a stretchy wrap. Now to get baby down, I'm just gonna peel the onion. So I'm gonna bring this middle part down first, over his legs. I actually only need to bring both of these back down over his body, and then I can actually just easily pull him out. So when you're doing a stretchy wrap, it's really important. You always need to use all 3 layers. Some different carriers might have the third part separate as a, that you need to tie on later. You always want to make sure you use that part. And the really nice thing about this carry is it's poppable, so I can take it in and out. I can pre-wrap this before I leave the house, and then to take off, I would just untie. And pull through, and then I can just kind of let that fall. So that is a stretchy wrap. The other kind of wrap is a woven wrap. So this one actually has a higher weight limit usually. Instead of being totally stretchy, it only has a diagonal stretch to it. So as you can see, it stretches there. So the next wrap we're gonna do is a front wrap cross carry. It's basically really similar to a pocket wrap cross carry, but you don't need those 3 layers because this is a lot more supportive. It's thicker. When it comes to wraps, you are gonna see all different kinds, different sizes, different colors. They're a really great carry. You definitely get whatever one is more appealing to your eye. Since it is such a moldable carrier, it actually works really well to use between different people. So to start with this, you're also gonna find that middle tag. Again, you're gonna put that right in the middle of your body. Kind of bunch it up a little bit. And the same thing as we did before. I'm just gonna grab that top edge, pull it up and over my shoulder. And do the same on my other side. Up and over. So a little trick with this one to make sure you haven't got any twists is you can take the edge that's closest to your neck, corresponding to the other side underneath your arm, and you can shimmy it to make sure that there is no twists. So I'm good here. I've got that nice X on my back. This actually is a little bit wider, so you'll notice that the X is bigger on my back. So for this one, I'm gonna want to tighten it up a little bit before I put my baby in. This is a pretty big pouch, so I can go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, so let's grab him and go up again. him in a hybrid position, also known as sack potatoes. Get him nice and high. I'm going to take my free hand, reach underneath, and I'm going to bring him down into the carrier. So I'm going to rest him here with this pouch underneath his bottom. This is creating that seat that he needs. So from here, I can reach underneath my arm, bring that up his back. Let's get that arm in there, buddy. And then I can reach underneath and pull fabric up between our bodies to create his seat. Make sure I find that bottom edge. Perfect. So we want fabric to go up right around his belly button. And then from here, you're going to want to go ahead and tighten. So to tighten for a front wrap cross carry in a woven, you're going to take the top edge next to your chin, and you're going to go diagonal and up. You don't want to pull out because it's not actually going to tighten. You want to make sure you're pulling up. So you can grab that little pouch with your hand and work your way through the wrap. Putting it in your hand to save your spot. And then this last piece, you don't want to tighten it too much because you don't want to pop that seat. So you can take this, put it in between your legs, and then work on the other side. So you can see that. You can shimmy your shoulder a little bit. Help get all that slack out. All right, so you can grab that other side. And if you're using a longer wrap, you can cross at baby's bottom, go underneath their legs, and tie a double knot in the back. This one's just long enough that I need it to be up. Okay. So as you can see, this is a front wrap cross carry. So he's nice and tight. If you wanted additional support, you could do the same as the pocket wrap and the stretchy carrier. And you can see I've got a little bit of slack, so I could actually pull that through on the bottom and retie. So if you wanted to feed in this carrier, you would just untie that knot. Bring these actually back around. And you're gonna just loosen and lower. It helps if you kind of suck it a little bit, so you can actually bring baby to breast level. You're gonna want to retie. As you can see, I still have one hand on baby. It's always important to never let go. You always want to have one hand supporting baby. So I can retie here while I'm feeding him at breast level. You could also bottle feed in this if you wanted. You could hold bottle, and then when you're done, you always want to bring baby back up. You always want them to be visible and kissable and nice and high. As you can see, he's very comfortable in this position. Keeps him nice and close in that tummy to tummy. So then I would just bring him back up and retie. So that is a front wrap cross carry, and also how you would feed just by loosening and lowering. So to get out of this, I can just kind of drop my shoulders, and then I can lay baby down, which is also great if baby had fallen asleep. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So a woman wrap is really versatile, and you can actually do a hip carry. So I'm going to show you a hip cross carry, which is also a poppable carry, just like the pocket wrap cross carry. So you can pre-tie, pop baby in and out, and you don't have to keep putting the wrap on your body. Here you go. Okay, I'm gonna take that middle marker, gather this up, accordion style, and I'm gonna put the middle marker right at my neck. And I'm gonna take this front part, I'm gonna wrap it around my body. And then I'm gonna take the back side, wrap it to the other hip, tie in a single knot. And as you can see, I have created this X on my body. So I'm gonna go ahead, I want it to be loose, making it easier to get baby in. So then I'm gonna go ahead and pick him up and put him in. Just start with a hip carry. You want your baby to be at least like 4 to 6 months, have sufficient head control. They don't necessarily need to be sitting up by themselves, but it's around the same time that you naturally just start to hold child on your hip. They're not slumping too much. They are able to kind of be comfortable sitting on your hip. So that's a good time to start with a hip carry. Okay, you wanna go back up? All right. So I'm gonna slide his leg in on one side. Give him that full knee to knee coverage by covering this over to the other knee. Give me your, and up his back. And then I'm gonna take the other side. Yeah, you're trying to eat the wrap. Slide his foot through, and same thing. Bring it to the other side. So that creates a seat, and then from here, it can tighten as needed. And then I actually could even tie on the other hip if I wanted. And then I'll just go ahead. And tie this triple knot. This one you could do in a shorter wrap too, which is nice. So this is a hip cross carry. So to get him out, I would just peel the onion, drop one side, pull down the other side, and then I can just pull him out. And then I've still got that X on my body. So if I just needed to change his diaper, feed him, I could take him out, leave this on, and you had your ball the whole time. And he would be good to go. You could also, for extra support, pull this around your shoulder to make it more comfortable for you. All right, so now I'm gonna show you a wrap, back wrap carry. So this, my baby is actually too small for that. For a back wrap, you wanna make sure your baby is at least 6 months. They're able to sit completely unassisted, and he is not quite able to do that. So I'm actually gonna use my doll. And when you're doing a back, any kind of back carry, you wanna make sure that you are really proficient with wrapping on your front. So you would want to make sure that you're really good at a front wrap cross carry before you're going to start putting your child on your back. And to start, you want to you can use the mirror. You can it's really important. Do it over bed or a couch, something really supportive just in case anything happens. If you want to have a spotter. Yeah, you can't go on my back. Okay, so I'm going to show you a back wrap cross carry, which is actually a really good first wrap because you stop in the middle to tie. So it kind of gives you a minute to take a breath, think about what you're doing before you finish the whole carry. So I'm going to put this middle marker on the middle of my baby's back. You can bring baby over 2 ways. You can do a hip scoop or you can do Superman toss. So for back wrap cross carry, I like to do a hip scoop. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick my baby up, make sure that my wrap is nice and spread out. So I'm gonna start with him on my hip. I'm gonna hold him in on my hip. Then I'm gonna take my opposite hand and hold his bottom. And then take the arm of the hip he's on, my right arm, do a swim motion, bring it over his back, and then I can bounce him over and make sure the wrap comes with. So I've always got one hand on baby, and then I can bounce him nice and high. And so from here, I want the wrap to actually go underneath my shoulders. And I can create his seat. I'm gonna pin down the first layer with my chin. And then from here, I'll turn around so you can see. I'm gonna take both hands, reach behind under his knees, pull that fabric down, and then bounce it between your buttons. And my baby does not have real knees. Your baby would naturally sit better. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a single knot. Nice and tight. I can readjust if I need to here. And tighten. And when I stand up, it's gonna sink baby deeper into that seat. All right. So this is what's nice about this carry. Kind of gives you a minute to take a break. Yes, I know. So you're gonna go ahead and flip this over your shoulder, and then you're gonna spread this across baby's back, making sure you don't cover their head. It's a lot easier to do that when you have a real child versus a doll. So I'm gonna take this and tighten it, strand by strand. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do it to the other side. Flip up and over. Find that correlating side on my back. And pull to get it across his back. So I want to make sure this is nice and tight. But also I'm going to go under his foot. And then from here, I can kind of adjust, tighten if I need to, if there's anything that's loose. Okay. And then I can go ahead and tie in a double knot. And to get baby down, he's already in that seat, and since this is tied, I can just bring these both around. And then from here, I can just loosen this a little bit and scoot him back onto my hip. Can do the opposite that I did before, and that is a back wrap cross carry. So the final wrap I'm going to do is called a rack, which is a really great, easy back wrap as well. I'm going to use actually my shorter wrap for that one. And for this one, I actually like to do a Superman toss. So I'm going to start with this across baby's back, that you can have baby facing you or facing away from you. So let me just set him down. So if I have baby facing away from me, I cross my arms. I'm gonna do one swift motion over my back, uncrossing them. There you go. Tangled up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay. So from here, I can kind of lower him to where I want him. I'm gonna pin these first two top layers under my chin and then create his feet. So I'm gonna pull down, bring that fabric up between our bodies, getting him that knee to knee cover. And then from here, I can tighten if I need to. So as you stand up, that's going to get him to sink deeper into that seat. All right. So I'm going to put one tail between my legs. Let's get his arm in there. Okay. So I'm going to go around my shoulder like a backpack. I'm going to pin this tail, this edge at his knee. And then I'm going to go over one leg and under the other, and then I can switch. I'm going to put this one in between my legs. And then same thing. I'm going to pin this edge against his knee. I can just stick my thumb in there so I can go over this leg, under the other, and then I'm all set. I can tie my double knot. So this is a really easy back wrap. You can do it with a shorter wrap, which is really nice. It's kind of like a backpack. Really nice and comfortable. And as you can see, he's good to go. Nice and tight and high and visible. Okay, let's pick you up. So when you're doing a back wrap, because your baby is not visible on your chest, like in a tummy to tummy or even a hip position, that's why you don't want to make sure they're older so they have sufficient trunk control. They're not going to slump back there because you don't have as much visibility. You can't really monitor their breathing as closely. That's why you do want them nice and high, so at least they're kind of up there closer to your face. So you always want to just practice really safe baby wearing. You wouldn't want to do anything that you couldn't actually hold your baby. So, you know, like riding a bike or in a car, you always just want to practice really safe baby wearing. And this is a ruck. All right, thank you very much.